I believe margin calls are on the way for some of the people who benefited on the momentum on this market pullback for these last 3 to 4 weeks, that I believe it's kind of looking forward to the end. It's kind of closing a little bit, getting a little bit closer to the end of this huge pullback on the markets. And now we are potentially looking at another huge run up. And I'm going to, give you two main indicators why I'm looking at that and why I'm also thinking we might be on the brink of another huge run up on AMC, maybe bringing us maybe on the 35 or the 40s. I don't know. But the bottom line is it's going to potentially run a little bit higher. Now, hear me out for just a minute. The market today had kind of another head fake because at some point the market was up 300, 350 points, all right, based on 400, more than 400, and this was coming from these huge 3 to 4 sell-off days we had, all right, on fears of recession and everything. Now, when you look at AMC, AMC it's kind of, now seems to be following again the major indexes. And if that's the case, all right, if that confirms, this, pattern confirms itself, whether it confirms itself or no, when you look at what Meta, which is Facebook, Facebook in opposite to Google, is doing pretty well after hours, considering that it just reported earnings, all right? The stock is now up almost 15%. Now, a lot of people were just looking at what Facebook earnings will look like. And because they beat estimates both on what we call the bottom line, the revenues, and the EPS, well, that's why the stock is running after hours. Now, running after hours earnings on Facebook being positive will kind of erase the fact that Google didn't have those, that much positive earnings. But when you look at earnings coming from other companies today, they were kind of also decent earnings, all right? Not as great as we had a couple of years ago, but quarters ago, but good. Now, the following week is going to be earnings from companies that are retail, oil companies, and I believe those are going to be great and extraordinary when it comes to the oil sector, all right? So this will ultimately reverse the momentum that we've seen so far in the market. By looking at the VIX, for example, all right, if you look at the S&P 500, if you look at the VIX, today we had, it closed 5%, 6% on the red. I mean, it's still above 30, which is still elevated when it comes to the fear index or the fear gauge, so I believe there's going to be a reversal, especially on the sentiment that, finally, Facebook is not disappointing, and the rest of the companies, I believe, may not disappoint. So the sentiment is going to give the confidence to the market that earnings are not that bad. So recession fears that you guys are having may not be maybe exaggerated. And when that happens, people get margin calls. When the wave of the reversal comes, the margin calls kicks in. And when that happens, the short starts to cover. And when they cover, especially with the stock as AMC, you have FOMO. Given the price being this low, FOMO never disappoints. That's why I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if by next week or the week after, boom, we hit 25, 30. Maybe we would go back to, 35 or potentially, these levels here around the 40s. Just because, the more we get, down the road, the lesser it makes sense to be short AMC and to be short in the market. The time to be shorted is now easing a little bit. So I would just say when you look at the technicals, you look at the fundamentals, you look at the market price action and movement and everything else happening, we're due for a sharp reverse. So I will look forward to this, but as always, it is not guaranteed. It doesn't have to happen just because I said so, but this is what I'm kind of waiting for.